It's 8 o'clock.
Well, is it really 8 o'clock? Well,
Well, 8 p.m. Yeah.
yeah, it says that my I just happened to notice it on my phone. Hey, everybody, again. Good evening. It's the Sunday night webinar. We're back, and Roger's back. Thank goodness he's back, and I'm
He's
sure you're saying the same.
back.
Everybody else is saying the same thing.
Oh, God.
No, don't have to listen to Gene for an hour. Thank God. Hey, but anyhow, I'm Gene Colbago,
I'm Roger Carroll.
and we're glad you're here. I have a very convoluted mess tonight. I have to tell you this at the
I
beginning.
hope you're speaking for yourself.
I said, yes, I'm speaking for
Yeah.
myself. I have different sites and things that different things that I want to show you. But what I will do is on the recordings page where we have the recordings of each webinar on the Teacher Resource Center, if you are interested in any of these sites tonight and forget, where I was, or I can't even remember who I was, I will put that the page with all the sites so you can have the links. Okay, so don't worry about getting them, marking them down as we go along. Hey, the first thing I'd like to do, I'd like to start off with, a couple of little. Let me just get rid of this, if I may. A couple of little things. One thing we're going to talk about, well, it's toward the end, but anyhow, I'm going to talk about this in a minute. But anyhow, uh, you know, uh, we've talked about the fact that we can do a split screen in Windows 10. In other words, we can have two programs running side by side. And, sometimes it's a little hard when you go up and not minimize, but make the windows smaller and then drag one over to the right and try to bring another one in. I found out an easier way to do that, to make it a little bit easier to get two windows up at one time. And all I found out that you had to do was look on your keyboard and find the Windows key, hold it down, and it's not working. I knew it wasn't going to work with this. Hang on one second. It was working with the other one. It's really weird. Maybe there are too many of them. That's weird. There it goes. Okay, finally. Windows, and it's an arrow. The arrow down at the bottom, the up, down, left, right arrow. If you hit it, as I did, to the right, it will put that screen that is up over to the right, show you the other screens that are active, and you can have two screens now working at the same time. Again, really simple. Let me just do this. Hold down the window. I'm going to go to the left this time. Hold down the left arrow. That's a nice little shortcut. Saves a lot of time. And then you see all of the other open programs or screens or whatever, and you can do it from that. So that's one little tip for tonight. Another one, if you don't have all of these little things open, I have the shortcuts on your desktop, and you want to open a program, you know the name of the program, but you have to go over here, and you got to look down through the programs to find it. You can do this by trying this. Hold down a window, Word, and then try typing. I just type WOR, and it will show me that, and I can just click on that and it will open it. If I held down window, EX, there's Excel. So you don't really have to go into these, okay? I don't know if it would work with Google. Let's see. GOO, there it is, Google Chrome. So great way to get into some of your programs without having to go down here and then sort through all of those. Hold down the little Windows key, start typing the name of the program. Worked out pretty well. Excuse me. Oh, Another one, this is kind of weird. Let's see if I can do it without, I don't want to do that. I'll probably close out the webinar, and I don't want to mess with that one. Okay. If I'm here and all of a sudden I say, oh, there's something I want on my desktop, and I want to get to my desktop real quick without minimizing this thing, I could go up and minimize it, hold down the Windows, hit the letter D for desktop, and it's gone. A couple of little shortcuts. Again, Windows, D for desktop, and boom, it's gone. Pretty good. Another one that I use a lot. I use the File Explorer. So there, if you hit the Window key and type E at the same time, you can open the File Explorer, and this will allow you to go through your files and so forth and so on. This can be a very useful shortcut as well. And again, Windows File Explorer. The last one, for example, what if you're going along here, you have as I have a number of websites open, and you accidentally close one, and you go, oh, I forgot where that was. Well, you could go to the history and figure out where you were and get it back. But if you hold down Control Shift T, whoop, it's back. Control Shift T. That's pretty simple. Couple of little shortcuts for you tonight. And again, those will be on that sheet that I post with the video for tonight. And if I thought maybe save you a few seconds of time. And with that, just wanted to make a very quick mention. This month is Black History Month, and so on that page you will also find some resources. Maybe you want to work into your curriculum, some resources for Black history. And, of course, the NEA has some really great things. What I liked about the NEA, they have them broken down to K through 5, 6 through 8, and you can even find some 9 through 12 things there. It's pretty decent. There is another one from I believe is this the Library of Congress? I believe. Yes. And this is African History Month, and it has a lot of primary sources that you might want to use, and themed resources, things like that. So you might want to take a look here, and there are some very good things there. Breaking it down a little bit to, if you want to go and find some really good stuff. Here's a great article called 6 Teaching Tools for Black History Month, and it comes from Edutopia, one of our sites that I use a lot, and I'm sure Raj does too, from the George Lucas Educational Foundation. But they have such things here as the PBS curated, I can't say that word, site, Edcitements, which, believe it or not, I have listed above, and a few others that you might want to take a look at. And the last one, Edcitement. I always liked Edcitement, and they have a pretty good listing here. Again, some of these I thought were, and again, you can click on these probably for the somewhat higher grades. Okay, so but that's has some pretty good things there. Black History Month. Okay. Take a look at that. Now, where am I? Who am I? Why am I? Okay, I ran across an article that I thought I'd just pop up, and this was kind of interesting. Microsoft has come out with a document and some videos. And, they came out with a thing called Office 319. I'm sorry, 2019, excuse me, of the 365 and 219. And it's kind of interesting. They came out and said, you don't really want that. We're very fortunate. We have the 365. And what they have done, they've come out with several videos, and they're kind of cool. They use twins, and they have a challenge in each one. And one of the twins uses Office 365, the other uses Office 219. And it shows some of the good things that we can do on our Office 365. So they're kind of worth watching. They're only about a minute and a half long, but they're saying, Office 2019, yes, I know we probably don't have it, we can't get it, but they're showing that what they're really trying to do is bolster that Office 365 for us. Also, the other part of the article, and it's one that might apply to some of the people who are watching and some of the art teachers, is this. They are now recommending, Microsoft is recommending that you do not use the Internet Explorer browser. Go to something else. Of course, they would like you to use Edge because that's the Microsoft browser, and they are making huge strides with it, right, Raj? I mean, it's becoming a really good tool. Raj and I are kind of stuck on Chrome right now, but I still like Chrome, but I do use it a lot. But this article quotes them talking about Explorer is slower, it's less secure, and I have run into this. Sometimes the web pages that are being put up are so advanced that Microsoft, the Explorer, cannot open them. So if you are using Explorer, you might want to consider trying out Chrome or Edge. There are easy ways that you can move all of your sites and data from Explorer into Chrome or into Edge. And if you ever do need help with that, let us know. Raj and I can probably help you with that. It's not as hard as it looks, okay? And in fact, here's another one. Please, here's the Microsoft Cybersecurity Expert article. Please stop using Internet Explorer as a web browser. Wow. And I mean, this is put out by the company that created the browser and actually they still put it into Windows 10 as I remember, okay? So anyhow, you might want to consider that. Let's see. Yeah, if you were interested in those videos, I just went to YouTube and went for the Office 365 versus Office 219 challenge, and here are the little twins video challenges, and they're kind of cool to watch because they have some really good ideas that we can also use with Office 365. Okay, so that just a little article there. Again, you might not want to do that. Hey, and thinking of that, before we go any farther, here is a place. I know some people, we keep talking about training for Office 365, learning more about Office 365. Here is another great training center. It's of course, from Microsoft, as you can see up the top. And it has all kinds of great tools, videos to help you. Notice this, Office 360, start with 6 simple steps. And if you click here, over here are 6 simple steps, little videos that will show you what, the first step. Go to Office 365, enter your, okay, create and save. I mean, yeah, hopefully we can do that now. Hopefully, but create and save, and it'll have, how we can create and save a document. Little things like that. And then once let's see if I can get back now where I was. Oh, I hope. Okay. In here, let me go here if I could. You can find a lot of great, ideas. And down at the bottom, it says expand your office skills, explore training. And if you click on this, well, it kind of shows you all kinds of things that you can do. Here are cheat sheets. We'll get to those in a second. And some other things that you can do. Learning the basics for the various tools. Word and Excel or whatever you're interested in. Here's how to get quick start, save time. All kinds of great information on Office 365. Here are some infographics that you can download for your the ones that you use. You have those little, I guess, kind of like cheat sheets that will help you out. In fact, I think I have, do I have the cheat sheets marked up here? They're up there somewhere, but anyhow, let me just do this. Here are some Office cheat sheets that you can download. If you notice that the first ones deal with Outlook, these are Windows downloadable cheat sheets. Okay? For example, if you are interested in Word, it comes down to you immediately as a PDF that you can click on, and it has all kinds of information. I'm not going to go through it right now, how to create something, find recent files, share your work, see who else is, I mean, it's all kinds of good stuff. And it's written, I went through one of them, and it was written pretty simply. So it could be fairly, useful to you. And again, if you're not familiar with OneNote, it's got a great cheat sheet for OneNote. Let's see if we can get it real quickly. These are coming in tonight, but boy, and it can help you to learn them. There are also, as we said before, the videos. Oops, I'm out of the wrong page. Things like that. So, all kinds of things that you can do with Office 365. Okay. Lastly, if you're interested in learning Office 365, these are not Microsoft sites. I just want to show you two sites that I found that have some value, I think, okay, that you might like. You might even subscribe to them if you like. This is by, Vanderschiff, I think, Tracy Vanderschiff. I listened to a couple of her videos. I do not believe these are from this country. Okay, I think she is either from England or Scotland, or she has a definite accent, speaks very clearly and everything. But there is a lot of stuff here that you can use. Now, and these may not be to your liking here, but if you go up to the top, where are we? Oh, the 365-hour outreach, for example. If you click on it, you can go down here and you will find all kinds of different things. 365 blogs in a year she's going to do. And back here, I think, is one, I think it was about a year ago, the ones that she put out. Okay? And this is where I did find those one of those days dealt with those tools, those little shortcuts that I just showed you at the beginning. Okay, they're in there. So again, this she's got some stuff here in here that you might want to take a look at. That my favorite PowerPoint tips and tricks. Okay, I mean, there's all kinds of good little things. Some of them you may not.
What was day one? What was day one?
Okay. Well, this is not year one. This may be not the first year.
No, day one.
I'm going down to day one. Day one. Okay. I'm sorry. The other one was backwards, so that's why I went to the bottom. Oh, notice that it goes 365. It goes down to. Yeah.
Well, you were down there.
There. Okay. 10 rules Zombieland about user adoption. I don't have the slide.
Introducing 360. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, there are plans and resources, need to know, add in,
Forms.
There's a lot of things here,
You say these are a year old at least, you think?
Let's put this one here. This one is. This one is. This one I think is, now see, this one is just getting started.
Ouch.
And there, I believe it's this getting started now. Okay. This is, she's telling what she does and all about, Microsoft Office and things. But it's kind of cool. It's worth a look. It's worth a look.
Question I have.
Yes.
Not to you as much as
to her
with us tonight, is who among us in the classroom teachers are teaching and introducing Microsoft word processing.
Yeah.
That's probably the product. It's the
product.
Product.
Yeah.
Of choice across the grades, and
mm-hmm.
David's in second grade.
Yeah.
Are there where in say all the ISTE standards do we actually show students how to work with word processing?
Sure.
Microsoft Word. You're talking about teachers.
Yeah.
Broadening our knowledge.
Yes.
We need to know where, is there a curriculum for showing students?
This is very scant knowledge. Dave St. Ange was working on a.
Oh, he translated. I say translated.
Yeah,
he had adapted and adopted
yes.
the ISTE standards for students and teachers in a project last summer.
Yeah, and
it had a scope and sequence as well.
Yeah, and now was this going to be introduced? I don't know exactly what was going to happen with it. So that might have some application. It might have some application there, is what I was thinking.
But here we are. We have the gamut of classroom teachers across the grade levels with us.
Yeah.
I say, what does a sixth grade teacher find they have to show students about Microsoft Word?
Yeah, and not a lot of this is built directly into the curriculum,
Not at all.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Yeah, that's really what I'm getting at.
Oh, sure, I understand.
Where does our curriculum address any of this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it does.
Well, we tried to do that with what was that? The one that's gone. I think they've phased it out.
Does anybody want to raise their hand and chip in on this?
Yeah. If
a little bit.
Yeah.
What's like Mark, the technology teacher.
Yeah.
What's your entry level with students?
Yeah.
To some of these skills.
Yeah. This is true. Okay. Well, or else if not,
again, somebody raise your hand if you want to just kind of chip in.
And if you were a little hesitant about that, when you get the survey, leave us a note with there, and so we can. Dave has raised his hand.
Okay, so let's go, Dave. I clicked on your mic.
Oh,
there he is.
There you go.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I find, and this is not, I don't think it's surprising, but I think that in kindergarten and first grade, they're really learning the basics, like how to turn the computer on,
mm-hmm.
and how to navigate within a set program, right? Like they're using, say, Reading A to Z or something like that. And they need to know this is where you click to read a book. This is how you answer the questions. But in terms of word processing, I don't think they come into second grade with anything. And again, I'm not saying that as a disparaging comment. I'm saying that those kindergarten and first grade teachers are just giving them the ability to know how to use the computer in the most basic, fundamental way. How the mouse works, that sort of thing. So I found that when I use, and I haven't used Microsoft Word a ton, but a lot of the tools in OneNote are they look exactly the same as they would look. Like if you're changing the font size, or if you're changing the if you're indenting a paragraph, or all those buttons are. They're not all there, but there's a lot of similarities. But they really need I can tell that that I'm giving them their first exposure, because like when I show them how to, for example, like enlarge a text to a larger font size, I get an audible sort of like, whoa, like, oh, I didn't know you could do that, So there's a surprise sort of response that I get from students that sort of indicates to me that second grade might be the first place that they get exposure to, the basic fundamentals of how to use Microsoft Word, or applications that look very similar to that in terms of.
So are you thinking
it's
that maybe ought to be part of the say early second, when you start to move in the direction of technology use with your class with OneNote and so on, that's part of the package?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you could use, like, it's pretty necessary to expose them to some of those basic functions of Microsoft Word in order to get any use out of Office 365 at all. Like just even simple things like the back button, undoing something that they did, or
sure,
those are very fundamental things that they need to use if you want to do any word processing at all. And in second grade, in my opinion, they really need to have some exposure, even if it's light exposure. They have to take the state tests in third grade, so one way or another. I'd rather have them get a little bit of exposure in second grade, so that it's not a shock for them when they have to take a high stakes test.
You want to put it on the shoulders of the third grade teacher, to do all of that plus, quotes, test prep,
right? And I would say, like, I think that I'm very happy with the skills that my students come in with from kindergarten and first grade. They know how to turn the computer on. They know how logins work. They know how to do some basic navigation around the internet. So I know those teachers are using those. You really
so they have that's kind of a literacy,
yes,
computer literacy kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's almost foundational. It's like it has to happen before you even get to the level of exposure to Microsoft Word or any application like that.
Yeah, interesting. I got to go back and look at that scope and sequence. A little closer to see where any of this falls. I know it only goes. The one that was developed only goes, I think, through sixth grade.
I believe they're right. Yeah, that's what I saw.
And I would admit readily that I'm not aware of where those lines are. I think for me it's I'm trying to cover as much as is practical in order for them to be able to use it functionally. So it wouldn't surprise me if most of what I'm doing is covered, and maybe even doing more things than I need to.
I would think
just
so.
Because a lot of those things are engaging, but I do it. Yeah, I'm not aware of where the breakdown is. I don't know what to expect that they should come in with, and what they should definitely leave second grade knowing how to do for third grade. So,
and I think it might be time to have those conversations. Now that we have a tech integrator for the elementary schools,
right?
That is something that Ed's looking at as far as the whole, say, scope and sequence of his job, and working with classroom teachers and so on. And we know, like, say, Dave, your second grade classroom is an exception to the rule for getting into much of this technology.
Right. But like I said, I think I mentioned to you that this morning, it is when you have something that's that has a value, outside of whether it's in the standards and things that we must. I mean, we're so crowded with things we must do all day long. I don't think anybody's sitting there saying, like, there's this block of time that I'm not using, and I should be doing this. Yeah. But I will say that, like,
let's take it out of their nap time.
Right. With the colleagues that I work with, it's starting to, when I talk about it, they're like, oh, I'll try that. And now I have, I have colleagues saying, like, send that to me through Teams, and I'm going to upload that form. And,
awesome.
Now
That's
So it's
good to
sort
hear.
of, it's a slow process, but I
Yes.
think that's the sort of when you have someone who's using it and finds the value in it, then they sort of, it's a slow, gradual passing on of that value when you talk to other people in casual conversations.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing that evolve just as we've seen the use of OneNote and Office 365 evolve over, let's say, the last 3 years. When it's been around, now it's starting to get a little traction, and like I say, make some inroads into other classrooms and grade levels and so on.
Yeah.
We can't have a week of training and say, okay, the world is different.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of like the snowball effect, starting slowly and hopefully getting bigger as it goes along.
Summer, the snowball melts.
Well, yeah, that's amen. Yeah, that's true.
That'd be my favorite movie.
But anyway. That's good. That's the one. Okay. Are we?
Oh, thank you.
Well,
thank you. And say if anybody else really wants to weigh in on this,
yeah.
As Gene suggested in the follow-up survey,
sure, let us know.
Put some thoughts together, and we'll have the discussion, and we'll target some things if it.
Yeah.
That seems to be where we want to go.
And again, my goal, I guess, with these things was to try to get you, the teacher, more familiar, comfortable with these products, so that you could, could do that. Hey, here's a last one.
Got to start there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
really
and this is this is kind of a good site too that I just found today. If you're ever in Sydney, maybe you want to take one of her classes. So I believe this is from Down Under. And I noticed that when I saw the word favorite. But there were some really cool things here. And what I was really impressed with, Raj, are the dates. These are all up to, you can see that she is posting regularly.
One of the first things I check for all this stuff anymore.
Yes. Now we've talked about that on the YouTube channels. Yeah. One thing, and as I just saw this one this afternoon, and then I saw this one, how to send bulk emails using mail merge in Word. I'm going to look that one up. That looked interesting. We've talked about mail merge, but not bulk email. So anyhow, one last thing, if I may, Raj, 1 minute, and then I'm going to push it over.
You've already covered most of my stuff, so go take it.
Have I really? Oh, no. Hey, this is cool. This is something that Google has come out with, and I recommend, if you're using Chrome, that you do this. There is a new Chrome extension that will let you know, when you go to a site and you type in your username and password, it will let you know if that password has been stolen by hackers. This is an article that I picked up, and it's kind of interesting. And again, almost everything here is, I'll show it to you in a minute, set up by Google, and Google is not, in this case, trying to collect too much of your data when you do it. But what it is, you'll see this little gadget here, and up in my top right, I think you can see that. Notice it says password checkup has access to this site. And if I click on it, see, if I go to a site and type in a password, for example, my email, if that password were to be used or compromised, this would tell me immediately. Okay? And this one's.
How does it tell you?
It pops up a little thing here. I'll show. There's there's some more information. If you see, it says none of your recently used passwords were detected in a data breach. So recently used means here and in the, I don't know, the past time or whatever. I'm not sure exactly how long. But when you click on this, it will take you to a very short article, a Google article from support.google.com that will explain how to do this, and I'll show you how to get the app in a second. And also, where was this? It says get password checkup. Now, notice I'm going to do something, but I'm not going to show you a whole lot of my in that account. If you have a Google account, as most of us do, you can go in and check your storage and Google and your settings. This says one security issue found. I did check that, and what it meant was I haven't used my computer up north in a couple of months, so I might want to take those passwords off it. That was what it was telling me, and I said no, that's fine, because I'm going back in a few months. But anyhow, this is, I think, maybe a worthwhile article, app. I'm sorry, this is an extension to put on your Google, to incorporate into your Google Chrome. And again, if you want, you can go here. And this is the Chrome web store. And if you don't have one of those little guys, just do a Google search for Chrome web store. And that's password checkup. So you would search the store for password checkup. And there it is. Notice your will say that, install it. I'm already installed, so it wants me to rate it. And you'll notice that it's gotten some pretty good ratings. Okay. So I just saw the article, thought it might be a little extra protection. Also, this Google page here has all kinds of information about security and privacy and so forth that you might want to take a look at. So it's a pretty good thing. So anyhow, password checkup. And with that, Raj, thank you. I'm going to share. Maybe I'm going to share.
You're going to share my screen? I'm going to share my screen.
I'm going to share the webinar with you. I know. Kicking myself out. There you go. We have a fire ablaze.
Oh, wait a minute. A fire. Ah, fire.
Yeah, ablaze. Yes.
I, again, have been absent for a couple weeks.
And we've missed you.
At one point, like I said, I tried, but Captain Jack Sparrow was holding me captive, and I could not connect, but I did try.
Yes. Yes.
And so anyway, it's nice to be back. I watched all of last week's webinar to kind of pick up and make sure I wasn't going to repeat what was on last week. And I only the week before I didn't get too far. I got what was the map something?
Oh, yeah, it was. I'm not sure of the news
map.
News map. Yeah, it was a map that pops up that allows you.
I looked at that part of the webinar, and I think the link. I had a problem with the link listed below.
Because it was.
But take a look.
I will double check the link, but yeah, it was working fine. And what was nice was Chrome translated the pages nicely. So
nice, yeah. Well, what you're looking at right now is if you're down in the left-hand corner, is called classroomscreen.com. It's something you want to throw up. Ooh, thinking about that. Something put up on your whiteboard, on your smart board, and you just simply go to the website, and there you are. And you can decorate your screen, and there are a couple of nice little widgets. These are all widgets at the bottom of the screen. First off, you would pick your language. It kind of defaults to us here. Then you can pick the background. This is one of many backgrounds that you can pick. And it popped up here. And again, everything's right in front of you. There are a couple of nice little features. I thought just as a different engagement factor for your classroom if you're using something you've been using for a while, you throw a little curve at your students, and this is kind of fun. You can change background screens. You can change the color of the screen overall. I picked this is an animated GIF here. I kind of like that just because it kind of warm things up. It has some nice built-in tools. One of them is a random name generator. And if you just simply type the names in here, you can probably copy and paste them. Notice here you can do some other things with it, and you can generate a dice roll if you're doing some things with that, or you can. A lot of teachers have different ways. I know Dave puts the kids' names on a stick and pulls them out, and so he's calling on different people throughout the course of the day. This is a way to randomize that as well. I'm sorry, what?
No.
I heard something.
I was moving some papers.
Oh, okay. It sounded like you were attacked.
No, I was moving.
You didn't get a paper cut, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay. And then this is just a simple toggle on, toggle off. You can check the noise level in your class. It uses the microphone and maybe pick up some decibels, some information here on that. You can generate a QR code. If you want to, you can turn this into a quick whiteboard and draw on the screen. I'm just using my mouse to do that. You can do some things here and double up on it. Those are kind of basic. I mean, we've got our whiteboard that does probably a better job than this. You can enter some text over here. But I thought this was kind of neat here. Well, there's different work symbols here. Let me get rid of some of these so we can just concentrate on what we're doing here. Some work symbols. Put these up on your screen. Okay. Show me if this works. Okay. I can't take that phone call right now. Okay. Sorry about that. You can say silence or talking at whisper voice, or you can talk to your partner to ask a neighbor or something, or a small group if you're working together. The one I like is red light, green light, like, okay, time to stop working. You can't hear it, but over your smartboard speaker, you would hear a little ding that would note a change, and that's kind of fun. There's a couple of timers that you can set for the class. You can also have the clock up if you want to do something like that. And it's kind of a fun little free. You just go to the website and you got it. In the upper left-hand corner here is kind of like a help screen and some tips and tricks and just a quick explanation as to how it works, and a little short video here that explains everything. It's video without any sound. It just takes you through each of the features and shows you just by using the cursor how to activate and work with any of these things. And that's kind of a fun little extra tool I thought might be fun. Change of pace. You can get a good warm fire going in class. You could actually in the upload thing, you can upload your own too. Maybe put up the class picture or put up the visual of the book you're reading, or maybe the task at hand and so on, which is kind of fun. And I don't know what this is going to do is share. Okay, it's going to go back and change some images here live. This might show your screen using Chrome. Notice here a couple of things. Using the video cam. I hesitate to do that, but I'll come back when I discover some more of this. So that's kind of a fun little thing I thought you might have some fun with. Again, This is called, I'll go back to, here's the dude. Go back to the main screen here. And look at all the different languages it supports and so on. And it's called classroomscreen.com. You just go to the website, maximize it on your screen, and you're there. It very intuitive. Again, I didn't spend more than maybe a couple of minutes on any of this just to get familiar with what it can do. Gene showed us a couple of sites for Black History Month. Here's one I came across, part of the New York Times, and every website that Gene mentioned are absolutely bona fide. And Gene, I'm not sure if we still have a resource page on the Teacher Resource Center for resources for Black History Month.
If we do, it would need to be updated, and
okay.
It is not online right now.
Okay, that's why I couldn't find it. This came from a New York Times article this week. Remarkable people who never received obituaries in the New York Times, but it's themed this month, and they're all Black Americans who passed on without notice over the years, and it's really rather poignant. Says a lot about our culture. Some people I'm familiar with some of the names, but by no means most of them. And it's kind of an interesting, I just typed in a Google search, it came up New York Times. I subscribed to the Times online, so I'm looking at my phone for this, and it just popped up. This was a really fascinating piece. And for no doubt the upper grades, if anybody's doing any research, I passed this on to a couple of teachers in the district who weren't familiar with the resource, and some of the mentions here. It just gives a little different view rather than kind of what we're used to seeing as resources denoting this month. I was greeted by this, so I opened up Microsoft Word. Let me maximize this. Gene, I don't know if you've touched on this or not. We talked about it a couple of webinars way back. And we talk about what's new. This popped up because I did a whole update. I went through all features, and we're looking at my Microsoft, my Surface Pro here. So I don't know if these features have been enabled yet on the installed versions of the district devices. But I opened up Word, and this automatically opened up with this little indicator saying there's something new. Your Office subscription has been updated. See what's new for you today. And then I clicked on, this is just a screenshot that I took. Let me get rid of that and go to Microsoft Word. So when I opened this up, that popped up, and it's into Help, and it starts talking about what are some of the new features. And we've talked about it. I think I demonstrated several webinars back this new add 3D graphics, and I did it with a PowerPoint, I think, or it might have been a Word document, but watch your slides come alive. Now, it's talking about slides. So here we are in a Microsoft Word document, and if you go to the Insert key, Insert tab, and now you should see, not grayed out, but enabled 3D models. And the little indicator you'll see here, that means they're animated. It's got this it looks like a man running or something. So these are animated animals. There's one here, Gene, you might recognize. it was on another slide, but I'm going to insert. This is kind of like what's on your home screen. Okay, your wallpaper,
okay.
your background. It takes a minute to download.
Yes.
I'm going to do another one here, but here is our.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, it's a video, but when you click on him here, note you can rotate him around, and he follows the cursor. This is now enabled, and I think when we talked about it, like if the kids are doing some research, we looked at one, I think, a while back. It was a dinosaur. There's let's see, I'll put the cursor down here. Well, maybe I'll get rid of him and start over again with another. Again, it's the Insert tab. Go to 3D models, and Microsoft is partnered with something called, over here you see it, Remix 3D, and there are a good number of animated graphics also online that take advantage of this new tool as well. But I kind of liked what I saw here with this. This is really, you got body parts, muscles, you got the globe, you've got say an ocean view here. I'm going to insert this one. And it takes a minute to download. Again, I'm just on Wi-Fi, so we'll see how fast it's moving or not moving at this as it appears here. But you can get some help here too. Notice over here, I'm waiting for this. Let me cancel that. Try it again. It might, maybe it buffered enough to. Oh, no. There we go. Let's do it again. We're going to insert again a 3D model. And you have a number of options. This grew since I demonstrated it with PowerPoint a month or so ago. Different sports, and so I noticed even my creations, you can create your own using this Remix 3D Remix website. You can make your own emojis. Let's try this again. See what the ellipse tells me. It's about forming volcanoes. Very timely a year ago for Dave, I would think, when having visited Hawaii. But there's a lot more to learn using these graphics. I think, again, it's attention getting. It's something you're going to display. It's not something, obviously, that's going to leap off a printed page for anything you do. When I did this earlier with this whole volcano thing, you can rotate it up and you can see how the volcano is building underneath the, here we go. Let's see if we can enlarge this. And now we start looking at underneath the crust of the earth on top. This is all, I'm doing this with my mouse. I'm maneuvering it all over the place, just as a teaching tool itself, whether or not, say, students are doing any research on it. This really is pretty interesting when you think of all of the technology involved here with doing this. It's just absolutely amazing. And the fact that you can do your own, that it has all these different options here. Notice when I hit the, clicked on it, it went to the format, and now I can change the view just by clicking up here and the design and the layout and so on. You know, from above, and then again, it makes it so you can maneuver it. That's pretty amazing. Just, you know, the kind of thinking that's going on with any of this to really bring something alive when we're talking about volcanoes or any of these sites. I haven't gone out and taken a look at all of the available models, but there's some built-in and so on. It brings us to a number of items. I think the one we did initially, we introduced like a fish tank with a shark behind it, and so on. So it's fairly well supported. I think you're going to see the options grow with that.
Raj?
Yeah.
If I may, we were talking before the webinar started about Microsoft Garage, and I mentioned that one of the tools from Microsoft Garage, these are apps and programs and so forth that the Microsoft people are working on and add. One was called Sketch 360.
I saw that. I didn't see it in the Garage. I saw a reference to it somewhere else.
I downloaded. You can go to the store, Microsoft Store, and download it. It's free. I downloaded it, and quite frankly, I only had a few minutes, and I'm really going to have to go back and look at it. But I wonder if you might be able to create. You can create three-dimensional images and so forth there, and I wonder if they might not be able to be taken over into that.
Well, there was that last option.
Yeah.
Down at the bottom of that whole list of ones. I'm assuming that is the case.
Yeah, maybe that's where they're headed.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Yeah.
I wonder if that's where they're headed, and that might be something for certain students who are interested in the the visual, the imagery, things like that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll pursue that. We got a question. I don't know if you're addressing that question.
Dave, I did not, because I.
It's not on the district yet. That's a good
one. Okay.
Yeah, our ongoing.
They're great. Well, yeah. Now, you have updated. You are using your Surface Pro.
Surface Pro. I'm using the Microsoft suite of tools that I downloaded because of my district account.
Okay,
and I updated it and provided it.
Yeah, and I notice also that on the right-hand side you have the Dictate app.
Yes,
app now
in that Word. Well, yeah. Yes. Now I've switched sites, but yes, it was Dictate was there, and of course all the immersive reader tools and things that we are really learning to use. This very quickly. If we, perhaps the staff is aware of this, I am not. This is a interactive website. It works on your smartphone as well. New York State Education at a glance. Some quick data here. A high school report card, high school graduation rate, and what we can do here is pick a, overall. You could actually narrow this right down to your school by test, by grade level, and so on. This is across the state, but again, it's all searchable. You go to the districts, and then we can look up. It's very quick tool. I imagine our administrators are well aware of that. Niagara Falls City School District. So this will pull all of that information up, probably based on the most recent data. 2017-18, and then there's an archive with it. ELA assessment data, math assessment data, high school graduation rates, and so on. And it goes right down to the school. Notice here a map and so on. I just thought it was interesting that this is out there, and there are, a lot of information you can get. Probably more, in terms of conversation and so on. What's interesting here, these are interactive as well. If you go around dealing with the ethnicity within our city, each population group is indicated here. It's fluttering because my mouse is fluttering, and so on. But some interesting information there as well. The last thing, with 1 minute left, Gene, and you popped her up last week in the webinar, is this person called Jennifer Gonzalez. And her podcast and her website, The Cult of Pedagogy. The podcasts are excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, as is all of her information, that she downloads some. You can download some PDF information, but the one I was going to draw attention to was this one here, the Ed Tools to Try in 2019. But go to her site. In fact, it'll be up on the the list. It's called The Cult of Pedagogy, but it's a podcast, but it lists all of her resources. I follow her on Twitter and get a lot of information from her that I think is very timely, cutting edge kind of stuff that just, it's another add-on to our personal learning networks, as are all podcasts, like Gene mentions TED and that whole resource there as well. Well, we've reached the magic hour. My gosh, there's an hour well spent, Gene.
I hope
and I'm
other
speaking
people
for
are saying.
myself.
Yeah, I've learned some things, and I thank you and Dave, and I want to thank the people for joining us as well, and hope that they got an idea or two or three. And if you do have any questions, concerns, please let us know, either in the survey or email us, and we'd be glad to take care of them.
Yeah, and I think we got an interesting week after next coming up. There's a holiday on the Monday, no school on the Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So we might have an interesting audience next Sunday night.
We'll find out. Yeah.
Join us, and feel free to put your hand up and join the conversations for anything.
Sure, or tell us what you'd like us to talk about. We can learn more. And with that, Raj, thank you. I'll talk to you soon, and we're going to say good night.
Okay. Good night, everybody. School is closed on Tuesday as well. Yes, next Tuesday. Okay. Very good.
Great.
Oh, darn. I was going to... Wait a minute. I don't do that anymore. Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.